Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about healthy food swaps. This is the snacks edition. So things like candy, chocolate, chips, and desserts. This is probably one of the most biggest categories of food that people wish they weren't addicted to, that they wish they could find a healthier version of, and that's what I'm going to help you with in this video. So when you do healthy food swaps, you can notice an improvement in your health when you simply swap an unhealthy food for a healthier version of it. Over time, you will get used to the healthy version and you will grow to hate the old version. This is true. I have experienced this myself with almost everything that I've swapped, and I'm going to go over some of these, of my favorite ones actually, in this video. So the first one on my list here is salted party nuts. You've seen them, the jars of the nuts of, every mix of nuts you can think of with salt in them, and they've been cooked in oil, and they probably have a bunch of seasonings mixed in there, like sometimes you can get barbecue flavored ones. Those are not the healthy nuts. If you are serious about eating healthier nuts, then you're going to want to go for the raw ones. So they're going to be basically unsalted, unprocessed, and they'll usually have the shell still on them if it applies. So some of the most healthiest nuts that you can eat would include almonds, macadamia nuts, pili nuts, pine nuts, walnuts are really good too. So look for things like that are actually good for your health. And what I do is I put nuts in things, because a handful of walnuts is not really flavorful. It's very waxy and dry. So I take them and put them in like oatmeal or salad. And you can also do that with seeds. Seeds are another thing that are similar to nuts that are very healthy for you, especially sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. Very, very high in nutrients. So like I said, I put those in other things. That way I can eat them better. I can tolerate them better. The next thing on the list here is microwave popcorn. So everybody's probably grown up with the box. I think it's like blue and yellow. I can't remember the name of the brand, but that's one of the worst popcorns for you, because they cook it in the bad oils and they salt it. So if you go and look for, it's usually down on the bottom level of the grocery store shelves, not on the eye level, either the bottom or the very top, you'll find a container of just the popcorn, what are they called? The actual seeds, the kernels. So you want whole grain ones. Trust me, they don't really, you can't tell that they're green. And then you want to make them, the way that you make them is what really makes a difference. So do not add salt. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I can't taste nothing without the salt. And that's why, because the more you use salt, the more you will need to use salt. Yep, that's actually a thing that I learned. And it's very true, because I never added salt to things. And I would eat something and somebody right next to me that's a salt addict would be just dumping it on, and we both would eat it and we would both enjoy it. And they're like, how can you enjoy that without extra salt? And it's because my tongue is not destroyed. Well, I shouldn't say destroyed, because I think you can get your taste buds to be back to normal. You actually will start tasting sweetness and salty stuff. And that also goes for a couple other things on this list that I'm going to get to as well. So when you're making your popcorn, so no salt, maybe you can kind of wean yourself off and just gradually add a little bit less each time if you really can't do it without it. I think there might actually be some sort of popcorn sprinkly stuff you can put on that's like a flavor, and they might have some kind of a natural thing in there. That's also an option, as long as it's not like the typical Morton salt that the really small grain. That's the stuff that's not good for you. And then if you want butter, then you can use butter from grass-fed cows. That's what I've been using for years. I've been buying the Irish butter. It's so amazing, and yeah, that's what I use. The next thing on my list is milk chocolate, and this is my favorite one because I used to eat candy bars all the time, and now I only eat dark chocolate. And when you buy dark chocolate, make sure that it's 85% cacao or more if you can handle it. I think 85 might be the most common high one you'll see. You probably won't see too many higher than that unless you're on their website, you know, some chocolate professionals that might have every percent that there is. But you will really notice a difference. If you try a dark chocolate that's 85% and then you eat another one that's like 40 or 50 or 60%, you will taste the sweetness in the other ones. But, so this is where I said, going back to, you will get used to these things. I am used to eating this dark chocolate so much that when I go back now and have like a Hershey's or something, I'm like, or even those generic milk chocolate candies, there's so many different kinds of milk chocolate out there that, you know, they all taste a little different, and you can sometimes even taste the chemicals in them. Like I can tell that there's something fake about this. And so yeah, I switched to dark chocolate. And here's the thing too. You do not want to eat a whole entire dark chocolate candy bar because they are high in calories. All of them are really. But in order to get the benefits from dark chocolate, which there are, dark chocolate has benefits for your brain. You do not want to eat a lot of it. So only a couple bites. I rip off like 3 little chunks of the bar, like maybe a tiny little square, 3 of them. And that's what I eat. And I love it because it tastes so good to me now. It tastes as good to me as a Snickers would taste to a kid. And, you know, just those 3 little bits, you look forward to it so much instead of just inhaling it because it's like, oh, a Snickers bar, you know, and before you know it, it's gone and you didn't really think about it. And this is where mindful eating comes into play too. I did a video about mindful eating and, you know, eating habits that help you to become healthier just by the way that you eat. So if you eat slowly and savor it, which is what I do with my dark chocolate, then it's just 10 times better. The next thing on my list is potato chips. So here's what you want to eat instead are chips that are made from vegetables. So you'll often see beet chips and squash. I think it's squash chips. Sometimes they do add potatoes in there too, but like sweet potatoes. That's another common one. But the thing is, they don't cook them in the icky oil. So you want the chips that are cooked in extra virgin olive oil if you can get it. And they're not easy to find. This is another reason why my video on reading food labels is going to help you, because those ingredient labels will tell you if this is a healthy thing or not. And kale chips are also another good way to really boost your health if you want to eat those, because you know, kale is so good for you that you can actually make it into a snack by, you know, baking it with olive oil and salt. And I've had these before too. Sometimes I've bought them, sometimes I've made them myself. The ones that you buy in a store that are already done are a little bit tastier, I guess. I guess it depends on what seasonings you add to it. I probably didn't get very creative with it, but give that a try. If you really want to jump up a few levels with your potato chip game, go right to kale chips. Then the next one here is sugary desserts. So by sugary desserts, I mean things like pie or croissant, well, not croissants, what am I thinking of? Those like donuts and pastries and like bars that people make with like pie crust and sugar and meringue and just all of those sugary things that are just, oh, I can't even handle eating that stuff anymore. So if that's your downfall, try eating fruit desserts. Now, a fruit dessert would be basically, there's so many different kinds, I wouldn't even know where to start here, but you can take fruit juice and like freeze it into a pop shape, like make your own fruit pops. You can make your own pudding with, maybe not pudding, Jell-O maybe with your own fruit. you can make just like yogurt, Greek yogurt, and put a bunch of fruit in there, some chia seeds, some oat stuff, like the stuff that they make granola out of. Granola, that's what I was looking for. And you can drizzle some honey in there. Natural stuff like that. If you can come up with a dessert with natural things, it's always going to be better than, you know, the sugary things that are just a lot of fake products in there. And they also use a lot of food coloring. Oh, don't get me started on the food coloring, because that stuff's just bad news. The next one here, this is the last one on my list, and that is ice cream. A lot of people love ice cream. So what are some healthy alternatives that you can do instead of ice cream? All of these over here on this list. Frozen yogurt, sorbet and sherbet and gelato, which I don't think I've ever had any of those, but I heard that they are very healthy because they're less fat and they're less calories. You can just freeze a banana. And here's another awesome dessert you could make, is to take a frozen banana and dip it in 85% cacao chocolate, and then you can dip it in there and just have a chocolate dipped banana that's healthy in every way. That's a good example of a nice cold snack dessert you could have. And then chia pudding is another one. I tried to make this once, and it wasn't the best, but it was, you know, it was still better than, you know, knowing that I'm not eating the sugary kind, because, oh, that pudding is just bad news. So many things that are snacks are just so much bad news. So I hope you got some really good ideas out of this video. And I also have a printable healthy food swap chart that you can print off that includes everything I talked about in this video, plus a bunch of other categories too. So I will leave a link down below in the description for you to download and print those. Those are very handy. I made them for myself, but of course they are a perfect fit for my audience. So I also did a video on the carbs. So if you want to watch the carbs edition next, that video is right here. Be sure to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.